I want to talk about something. Last night, throughout Nashville, there were major protests, and I'm not talking about the constitutional right to a peaceful protest. I'm talking about violent, you actually should say riots in many states throughout last night into early this morning. And they've damaged buildings, ruined businesses, and they destroyed the courthouse in Nashville. Now, there's a difference between a violent riot and a peaceful protest. Now, one thing that I do have to complain about is some of those people that were hiding their faces and all of that when they were protesting. Then they go up and they'll take some kind of a bomb type of item, homemade bomb, throw it at the police officers, and then take off running like a coward. If you're going to be brave enough to do something stupid, don't run off like a coward. Because those individuals that ran into the police, they were throwing multiple light bulbs, homes, businesses, multiple places destroyed last night. It looked like a scene of like some kind of a mass protest that you would, and the police just sit there doing nothing because they knew they would receive backlash. Let me tell you something. I will state that the actions done, the heinous actions that were committed by the police officer, and the atrocities of the fact that the other officers surrounding that particular police officer that committed that act of murder were definitely heinous and should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. And everyone should see justice prevail. But acting out in violence yourself is not going to solve anything. So it's one thing to another. There's always one thing, it seems, one distraction to another. From one thing to another. From one big crisis to another. And it seems they try to stir up some sort of civil wars, and have since 2009. Actually, 2012. Now, those that are displaying a peaceful protest, that's constitutional. That's peaceful. That's not disrupting anyone. But I guarantee you, just wait a few years, and if there's an administration in office that does not do what the people feel should be done, like ourselves, and that an administration or government that tries to take advantage of their position of authority, like, for example, like, not to the degree these police officers have or whatever, but trying to create some kind of totalitarian control, dictatorship, similar to what you see in other countries, and you did begin to see playing out during the previous administration. If we begin to see stuff like that happen, and there becomes some sort of anarchy or anarchist or anti-government protests that take place, I guarantee you what'll happen. What will happen if protests start taking place against government tyranny, or against the government overstepping their boundaries and rights? I mean, in a way that goes against the constitutional rights and freedoms and civil liberties of the people. What will happen if the people begin protesting in the near future, or in the any time in the distant future, any time? What will happen, say, during a previous administration, if people begin protesting, say, a new law the government wants to enact? Or they begin blocking streets and destroying places and acting insane for the purpose or reason of demonstrating or even holding a peaceful protest. Watch what happened when you held a peaceful protest in the past against something that the government was doing or a law that they were putting in place that we didn't agree with. What happened not only here or in other countries? They'll just mow you down. They'll tell you, if you don't go back home, you're being arrested. What happened just a couple of years ago when some people protested in Nashville against something they didn't like? They were arrested. They got arrested. Now people are getting by with literal acts of vandalism, and they're not being arrested. No names are being taken. No facial recognition technology is being utilized for the identification purposes of individuals who are causing those actions to take place. Think about it. You and I, if we were to protest previous or some time in the future government overstepping of their powers, the government overstepping their boundaries and taking away our civil liberties and freedoms and personal rights, if we were to protest that, I guarantee you we'll get shot down, mowed down, just destroyed, tear gas thrown at us, and no telling what else done. Maybe even eradicated, so to speak. Offed. We'd be done for if we tried to protest anything, especially in that anarchist type of manner. But all of those people, most of the majority of them, of all different creeds, races, and backgrounds, or whatever, that are protesting last night into this morning, violently rioting, they get by with it and get off scot-free. While in the past, someone has tried to have a peaceful protest and they'd been arrested. In the future, I guarantee if we were to peacefully protest something that future leadership tries to do and overstep their boundary of power, and we would probably be arrested. But it seems right now, some can get by with whatever, and that's uncalled for. If it fits the narrative of the divide and separation that they want, they allow it to happen. They have in the past, and they're doing it again. If it's the narrative of divide, which seems to be what they so commonly, sadly, want to promote lately. Instead of unity, they want division, because out of chaos comes control. Try protesting in the future in a peaceful manner. Try protesting in a peaceful protest. Try enacting your right to a peaceful protest in the future against any form of government tyranny, or you think that the government is overstepping their boundary and invading on your personal civil liberties and rights, and see what happens. If you try to protest that in the future, I guarantee you'll be knocked down right away. Right away. But because this fits the political narrative of divide, separation, and the agenda at hand for more control, more chaos for the control, and possible MARTIL law, they let it go. Fits the narrative, so they let it happen. Because they want more control. Peaceful protests get stopped instantly, but these are allowed to continue for the reason of more divide and more control. Signing out.